Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Did I get a good morning back? Yeah, it's early enough. Thank you. I'm Jim Gray. I'm the mayor of Lexington, for those of you from beyond our boundaries. And I want to start by just commenting a little bit about this event. But first by saying, I'll bet that many of you are like me when someone may come up to you and ask you to describe your job. And you look at them, you shrug your shoulders, and you sort of say, well, it's just a routine, not a big deal. But you know, it is a big deal. You know that it is a big deal, and they know it's a big deal. Well, such is the case with university cities. I think it was in 2013, I was talking to Scott Shapiro, and he described, he was doing a benchmarking project. And he described that he was coming up with some data that made it, that looked like we were different. Lexington was a little different. That's when I said, well, you know, the last thing a fish can describe is water. We often don't know how to describe ourselves. We don't know sometimes exactly what it's like. To put that in objective terms, we know it subjectively, but we don't always know it objectively. So Scott's data was telling us that Lexington was different, and that there were some other cities around the country that were similar. More than college towns, but some not quite the big metropolis, big cities where colleges and universities were less of the fabric of the city, or represented less of the fabric of the city. That yes, Lexington was like some other cities in the country, and we began identifying those cities. Ann Arbor and Madison, not unexpectedly. Lincoln and Fort Collins and Raleigh-Durham, and then Lexington. I think that's 6, wasn't it, Scott? I got them down now. And the more he dug into it, the more he dug into the DNA of these cities, the more we discovered that there was something here to look at carefully. So, here we are today, a few years later. This will be the inaugural event, the inaugural University Cities Conference or Summit. So we welcome everyone. Let me pay a special welcome to a few folks who are partners in this project with us. And that includes the University of Kentucky. Let's give a big hand to the University of Kentucky, President Eli Capilouto. President Eli Capilouto, who's going to join us later. Many of his staff are here. I know Melody Flowers has been very involved in the project, Ken Trotsky, and Phil Harling from the Gaines Center for the Humanities, all who have helped make this happen. I also want to welcome several council members who are here. I see our Vice Mayor, along with Jay Gibbs, council member from our district right here at the university, our downtown. And I also want to welcome, a special welcome, to two of my colleagues, mayors from Fort Collins and Lincoln, and that's Wade Troxell and Chris Beitler. Chris, hold your hand up. You're going to hear more from them later. And I believe I haven't met Howard yet. Is Howard Lazarus here? Howard, did he not make? Howard was scheduled to be with us from Ann Arbor. He'll be here. He'll be here later. Okay, that's great. So thank you all for welcoming them. Now I want to introduce Scott, who is going to share more about the project. I've already described what he did early on in this discovery process. Scott is our Chief Innovation Officer for the Mayor's Office, and he has worked on this project relentlessly. So Scott, come on up here and tell us more about where we're going to go today, our guests, and all that we're going to learn.